3.3 Military under Shivaji. The organization and discipline of Shivaji's army was worth emulating. He paid cash salaries to his soldiers. He adopted the practice of branding the horses and writing the descriptive roles of the soldiers. Soldiers of his army did not carry their wives with them. Shivaji ordered his soldiers to carry a minimum burden or luggage so that the mobility of the army should be efficiently maintained. His army had four branches: cavalry, infantry, artillery, and navy. Cavalry consisted of two parts. The horsemen who were provided horses and weapons on behalf of the state were called the Bagas, and the horsemen who arranged for their own horses and weapons were called Siladas. All cavalry was under SYBA. Infantrymen were good archers. Shivaji recruited the marvelous in big numbers in his army. His army had 700 Pathan soldiers as well. Shivaji's artillery consisted of only the mortar guns. It was managed by T. Portuguese. Shivaji got gunpowder, and so on, from the French of Bombay. The main purpose behind organizing the navy was to arrest the plunder of the Abyssinians. During the 4 months of the rainy season, the army remained in the cantonment. During the remaining 8 months, the duty of the army was to conquer new territories or collect supplies from the enemy land. All soldiers were duty-bound to declare their articles before leaving the cantonment so that they may not be able to hide anything that they might have collected from the enemies. Shivaji formed elaborate rules and regulations to maintain discipline in the army, and all of them were rigorously enforced. Consequently, he was able to organize a well-disciplined, strong and highly mobile army during his lifetime. Security of the forts was very important to Shivaji. He had as many as 250 forts which served as defense and offense purposes. Every fort had 3 officers, namely, a Havaldar, a Sabnis and a SYBA. All the 3 were jointly responsible for the safety of their fort. The SYBA and the Havaldar were Marathas at the same time, and the Sabnis were Brahmins by caste. Karkhana Navis was responsible for the maintenance of all sorts of supplies in the fort. He had the additional responsibility of keeping an account of every income and expenditure that was incurred in the fort. The responsibility of the Havaldar was to look after the working of his subordinates, the right to dismiss them, to receive and dispatch letters, to close the gates of the fort in the evening, to open the gates in the morning, and to check the measures taken for the security of the fort. Shivaji also had a navy to protect the Konkan coast from the Siddhis of Janjira. He had 400 different types of ships in his navy. The navy was divided into 2 parts, and each part was commanded by Darya Nayak and Mai Nayak, respectively. The navy of Shivaji fought against the Dutch, the Portuguese and the English at several occasions. Summary. Shivaji is famous in Indian history not only for being a brave and daring person, a successful general and the founder of an empire, but also as a great administrator and a ruler. Every provincial ruler respected the wish of the king. Like at the center, there was a committee of 8 ministers in every province. In the local administration of Shivaji, forts played an important part. The responsibility for the defense of the neighboring area of the fort was of the Havaldar. Shivaji organized his land revenue administration most probably after the pattern of that of Malik Amber, the minister of Ahmednagar. According to some historians, Shivaji completely ended the zamindari or Deshmukhi system, but it does not appear to be correct from our point of view because he gave salary to many officials in the form of Jagir, though they were kept under control. Shivaji neither established organized courts like the modern courts nor did he establish any law code. His judicial administration was based on the traditional ways only. The organization and discipline of Shivaji's army was worth emulating. He paid cash salaries to his soldiers. He adopted the practice of branding the horses and writing the descriptive roles of the soldiers. Cavalry consisted of two parts. The horsemen who were provided horses and weapons on behalf of the state were called the Bagas, and the horsemen who arranged for their own horses and weapons were called Siledas. During the 4 months of the rainy season, the army remained in the cantonment. During the remaining 8 months, the duty of the army was to conquer new territories or collect supplies from the enemy land.